Okay, welcome everybody to the select board meeting for Eversource poll hearing. I'll call the meeting to order. This poll hearing concerns 13 new polls and 7 relocated polls on Main Poland and North Main Poland roads, and also a new 45-foot mid-span pole on Main Poland Road. Now we have the sheet in front of us. I hope you can share on your screen as well.
Can you hear us, Jesse?
You want me to share it?
Yeah, I just made you co-host. You can share if you want.
Okay.
And then Jesse, did you just want to go through?
So
The-
I can't speak to the 13 polls. That must be a project's job. I haven't been notified about that. I don't know if anybody else is representing for that tonight. I'm here for the one at 2394. I can sit in if there's nobody else there. I'll sit in and take notes and take some questions if you'd like to.
We can start with 2394.
Okay.
We got folks here. Thanks. Sorry. Didn't realize there were that many.
Yeah. I usually projects doesn't usually handle these because they're not really employees. So a lot of times we sit in on them, but nobody has notified me about it, so I was not prepared. I don't see where it says to share. Oh, there it is.
And then when we say 2394, we're talking about the 45-foot midspan.
Correct. That one singular and
I think
I
it's
don't know.
separate.
Is it working for you guys? I don't know how to make it say. Oh, there it is.
No. Oh,
This is
there
the
you
first
go.
time I've used Zoom to share. I'm sorry.
Nothing like the learning curve, right?
Teams operates a little differently. Yeah.
That's great. Anyway, oh, dude, you got it bigger. Perfect. See, you're
That
rolling.
worked. Okay. Yeah, so this one's pretty simple. This customer needs to increase their service. We need to get a transformer closer to their property. Their secondary run is too long, so I need to install this mid-span pole because all these other poles are being used up by the solar that's up near their backyard. It's not related to them though, so I need to install another pole and get a transformer closer to them. It's pretty straightforward. Do you have any questions?
Is the 45-foot height the same as the other poles along the road?
Yep, it'll be equal. It'll just, unfortunately, I need to add one more so that I can get a single phase lateral off of that and go up the hill towards their house.
And it looks like the pole is going to be on the side of their property.
Yeah, I believe their frontage it goes down the road pretty far. So it'll be all on their property. This pink line you see is a secondary electric line.
Okay, and this is just to serve that one residence?
Yes.
Was this requested by the resident, or this is just a necessity based on the need of the service?
Yeah, it's really Eversource's request to be able to serve them. Yeah. A necessity.
I don't know.
I don't think there's any questions on this poll, so.
Yeah, okay.
Might wanna,
So you can say for everybody?
Yeah.
I can get some chairs for you around here, so.
Are they the same item in the discussion? Because these are two separate.
that's the only thing he's talking about.
Right, yeah, so. But are we treating it as one, so, or do you want to like just close off Jesse's request?
Oh, Gilberto's there.
Yeah, I mean, there's no vote on it, right?
Oh,
This is just a hearing, so we don't have any votings going on. This is just information gathering.
okay, gotcha.
if you wanna, if you wanna log in, I could figure out how to make you co-host if you wanna be able to share on the screen. That's up to you. Cause we're recording it anyway, so,
Gotcha.
yeah,
I don't think we have anything else for Jesse. She says,
yeah. I think that's all good, Jesse, since
Okay.
it's just that one, so thank
Okay.
you.
All right. Thank you, guys. Good luck,
All
Alberto.
right. Oh, Jesse, hang on.
Yep, sure.
specifically in relation to this.
Okay, all right, we have the residents here, so.
Okay.
Did you have questions about the mid-spin?
Yes. Um, sorry that I missed it. I don't know where I should address, but, yeah, we'd like to know
Can
what
hear.
it's pole, what it's made out of. Where exactly is it gonna be in your, I know it says 20 feet approximately to the north on the west side of the road. Is it on the Newman property? Is it on the LeBlanc Vegative property? How does it compare? Are all the other poles there 45-foot poles? Are we looking to
Yes.
talk about a wooden pole? What are the cross members gonna be made out of?
It's gonna look exactly like what's there right now. We're just gonna add another one so that I can take a single phase primary tap off of it and go up towards your driveway. Does that make sense?
Are any trees gonna be cut?
I believe we will need to take down one tree that was part of your the bill that you had paid for the service. I believe there's like one tree that's in the way of connecting the dots between the existing pole and the new pole.
All right, I'm actually LeBlanc, I'm not Newman. Are you thinking that I'm Newman?
You're the neighbor?
Yeah, I'm at 2332 Main Pole Road.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so there is, I believe it's still on their property, 2394 property. Yeah. Let's give me the lines. Yeah, I mean, you can see the stake in the ground, so if you're concerned about it, you could tell me if it's on your property or not.
I don't see any stake on the ground. We walked the, that length of road just this afternoon. We don't see any stakes.
Okay.
Are there gonna be any transformers, any LEDs, on
Nope.
this pole?
Nope.
So it's just, to reinforce your span?
Yep.
Okay. So I guess I'd just like to hear you say, you know, there will be no transformers, no LEDs, no lighting on this pole.
Yeah, I just agreed to that. Yep. There's no transformer on the pole. The transformer will be on 2394's driveway. On their
Okay.
property.
Great, great. I think that was it. We really just wanted to
Okay.
get it all, you know, on the record so that when it appears, we'll have a one-to-one correspondence. Thank you.
Sure.
Okay, I think we're good there. We'll move
Cool.
on to the actual fall hearing here.
All right.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Thank you, everyone.
What's the password?
Oh.
Red line.
So I'm a representative from Leidos Engineering. We're contractors for Eversource. We did the design work for the North Poland Road and the main Poland Road, the little section, I think all the way up to pole 74. So the main part of this project was to upgrade the lines. So we're reconductoring the primary line that brings power to people's houses. It's a very wooded area, so we needed to minimize the spans in between the poles. So, we redesigned the poles where we moved a couple of poles over. We added a couple mid-span poles to make the spans shorter. Some spans were up to 400 feet. And by new standards, there had to be at least 200 or lower to hold the new primary wire. That's gonna be heavier and more resilient to weather, trees, and different kind of anomalies. It's to protect from power outages for the residents. And mostly to shorten the spans. That's why we are installing those mid-span poles and moving a couple poles around to make the spans more equal. So they're not, say, one is 100 feet, the other one's 150 or 170, make them as close as possible, as close as a medium, pretty much mid-span as possible. So that's pretty much the main goal of our project on North Poland.
We're gonna have the same questions, right? So it's all gonna be the same questions, type of pole.
Yep.
What's gonna be on the pole, what the pole's gonna look like, the height of the pole, or any trees need to be taken down.
Yep, I have all the information on what kind of pole it's gonna be. They're all gonna be wood poles. And it's gonna be a diamond formation on the primary line. Right now, it's a crossarm formation. From what I know, it's gonna be a diamond, so it's gonna be clumped together. Like if, right now, if you look at the road, North Pole, it's, there's a crossarm going across the pole, and then on each side, there's a primary line, and in the middle. Now it's gonna be one attachment on the pole, and then it's hung in a diamond formation. Three lines as always, and a ground wire on top. But overall, it's just gonna be heavier, so it can be more voltage will be going through it. And it's more resilient to, say, if a tree falls in it, and because the spans are gonna become smaller, the poles might not snap, the wires won't snap. It might hold the lines, and then somebody will come out and cut, and it'll be okay.
So
It
the
won't
pole
be-
will still be wood, it's just gonna be thicker diameter wise.
Yes, and what they gonna be called?
Uh,
Let me check for sure if they're gonna be.
they're gonna be between 45 and 50 footers. It is possible that out there are 40 footers out there, so. Some locations may be, 5 to 10 feet taller than current height. But no taller than 50 footers per design. Still wooden poles, like you mentioned, just bigger diameter.
Now, on one of our pole hearings, they stated that it was by code that it had to be a certain height. Is that why these are increasing in height?
The height generally for us has been to overall, for example, it's almost like planning for the future, whereas. I'm not sure if Conway is one of those towns, but if towns nowadays, want to run fiber, there has to be a clearance between the fiber comms and Eversource secondary, but also the fiber comms need to meet clearance to ground. So if we don't put a tall enough pole today and they run fiber tomorrow, then we'll have to come back and replace them all for one that would meet. So it's not necessarily that we'll need it right now for Eversource's purposes, but it's almost like planning for the future, right? And leaving enough clearance there for ourselves today and for future facilities on the pole.
Speaking of third party.
Yeah,
Speaking of
perfect
third party,
example.
right, fiber, there's not any fiber now, but Comcast, Verizon. I'm assuming they're on existing poles now. When the new poles or the replacement poles will be installed. Is Eversource gonna notify those third parties to move their lines onto the new poles?
Yes, so that's part of the process. We do an exchange of notice, documentation with them where we say like, we'll relocate poles X, Y, and Z from here to here or replace them in place. Will you agree to relocate or to stay where we are? If it's like a new pole, a relocation. Edward would know best if Verizon has agreed to all of the locations, or if there are locations where they decided to stay where they are. Should we be doing?
From what I know, Verizon did not say that they will not transfer. I think everything will be transferred.
Do you know if Verizon or any other third party has their own poles that aren't Eversource poles?
So
On that-
I was
on
the
that
one that
span?
I was the one that fielded this project, it looks like there were no poles that were just communication. poles. So it looks like everything was, with the electric service and with the communication services on it together. From what I feel.
Okay. To let you know, like
Yeah,
that.
there's no, it
It's
doesn't
fine.
look like, yeah, the service doesn't end from Eversource's side, the service doesn't end. It starts at the beginning of North Pole, it goes to the end, and goes on to the main pole road, I think, to the right. when you're driving.
Yeah, so, Conway in general, it's a beautiful town. This is, a rural road. It's beautiful out there.
Yes.
The one concern,
Yep.
one of the many concerns we have is just to make sure that we don't have an abundance of poles that aren't necessary. So whenever the new poles are put in, the replacement poles are put in, we don't want double pole. And we want to make sure that the old poles are removed as quickly as possible.
And then we also, I think my manager talked about the town wanting to preserve the scenic road. So no poles will be on the road.
Yes.
So what's already on the road or on the side of the road will stay there. But there's also a part where it's right of way. Poles, they will also stay on the right of way poles. We did not move them closer to the road. They will stay in 20-30 feet from the road as existing. So they'll be just replaced at the same location, and then new poles, the midspan poles will be added in between, also on the same line. So, right, say,
So the 7 new poles, are those in right of way? And if so, are the residents, where the poles are, where the poles are gonna be on a resident's property, have they been notified?
yes, so I do have a list of all the residents that, where the poles are gonna be, replaced or switched or adding a pole to, so we have a list of all the residents and they've been notified. So,
So Chris, can I ask a question? So my question is, a member of zoning, is there an easement required in any of this? Either from property?
Not one's right of way, or
So these are right of ways that already exist?
I know there's one pole going on our property that we haven't been notified other than the notice of this hearing.
yes, so we have a list of all, I have a list of all the properties and their owners. And they were supposed to be notified of this petition meeting, and then here we would be discussing all that.
Yeah, so this is the only thing you've got.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
So I think I'm seeing that Brenda did not.
No, we have quite a few poles on our property. We own a lot of frontage on the road. And we were earmarked to have at least 50 trees cut down originally last November. And I did attend that meeting. I was not told about this meeting. I happened to go on the website because I was aware that there was one probably going to be coming up. And I happened to see it, talked to Erica. She said, yep, we're confirmed. So I have never been notified about anything. And I'm sure you're adding a lot of new poles because we have quite a span between a few of the poles. So I would love to be notified. Thank you.
So I
About
think
trees
so
as well.
we're one of the properties where you're actually moving it off our property, which is quite lovely in our scenario. And we weren't actually notified, but I'm wondering if because you're actually moving it off our property, that's why we weren't notified, because they're being removed, actually.
yeah, but they'd still be doing work on your property.
Well, that's what we want, that's why we're here,
Yeah.
that's why we're here.
But I believe they're keeping it in the existing right of way, aren't you? Yeah, that section of wood that's on the
Yes.
right of way, you're leaving it there, right?
Yes, we are,
That's what I've been told.
yes, yep,
So
We
you're
are
not
repla-
moving it off.
We're not moving it up.
we are not moving it up to the road, it's staying in the right of way. We're just moving a couple poles to readjust the spans and then adding the mid spans where the spans are great, like there are spans that I fielded where they were about 400 feet. That is way too much weight for 2 poles, even to increase, say, to a 45 foot and bigger diameter. It's still way too heavy for that 400 feet. So we added another midspan pole that's gonna be in between, and we're gonna cut that in half.
So if that's the situation, we're gonna have, you're talking about doing wires with the X-brace pattern.
Yep, with a-
Instead of us having 3 lines that are
Yes.
running directly through the middle of our yard, we're gonna have a big clunky 8 like X patterned.
So it won't, no, it will be a lot smaller. Do you have a photo of a dime information?
Yeah, we also have a transformer that
In our
is
drive, like up
six,
from our house.
it's like 6 feet. In
Does
the
it feed
win-
your service?
Yeah,
Yeah,
in the winter time, it hums,
pops.
yeah, it's completely covered in rust. We get power lines down all the time in our driveway, on top of our cars.
So this project specifically is made for the power outages that are happening probably in this area, often because of, it's a very wooded area. So that's why this project is being done to increase the strength of the lines and to shorten the spans and to increase the integrity of the lines pretty much. With the poles being thicker, bigger, they will hold out even if a tree will fall on it. It won't snap the lines, so if it's a medium side, if it's a huge tree, it might, but. What I saw there, maybe a foot in diameter, something like that, it should hold out, it should.
We're still gonna have wires running through the middle of them.
Yes,
Are you sure on 641?
let me check for sure. Do you know Do you know what pole you have in your
I don't
yard?
know the number. Do you have it on YouTube?
What's the address?
It's 641.
41.
It's just a really odd setup.
While you're looking up that up, what does JO pole mean, JO?
That's a joint pole.
Human operations. Did your own work.
Right, we're gonna add a pole in between the two poles that we already have in the front of our, where our stride is.
Markers look like they're on the right. Yeah.
Yeah, they went through last fall, when you had the first meeting, had all these marks on the road, and poles. Changing it, but they never taken those pole markers out, to my knowledge.
Right, because the
So
markers
it's confusing.
make, right, the markers make sense in some ways, the way they are now, but it doesn't seem to be adequate.
I'm gonna make you co-host. so you
Yeah, I
can-
think it's gonna get. So this is the design that he's discussing, we call it spacer construction, we may see it now, this is the new default going forward, so it is more compact,
Right.
and more resilient.
Yeah, so I'm gonna see big cables running through.
Well, there's so many markers, I guess it's confusing, because there's
Yeah.
so many like
I mean-
Bill was just saying, that there's a million markers there right
I think-
now.
I think, what could be adding to the confusion is originally the right of way section was supposed to be brought roadside, right? So there's gonna be markers there of trees that would be cut and everything. Do with the, you know, with the
So you've never
resistance,
taken those markers out from last fall.
Fa-
after you
false,
changed your plan,
exactly.
So that's
So
confusing
people-
everybody.
right,
People
right,
push back on you moving them to the road, and now you're not.
No,
right,
we are
exactly.
not moving them to the road.
Exactly.
It's staying in the right of way.
It's still an option potentially. if
For us
some
especially.
homeowners would
Right,
would like it moved to the road.
I mean, ideally, we wouldn't want to zigzag in between, right? It's almost like all, I'm sorry?
It's already zigzag.
right, and if you're moving poles.
No, I'm saying that section of right of way, I think it's like about a mile or half a mile or so, that's like really off-road, right? It's like you mentioned, through backyards, behind houses and things like that on a section that's like kind of hilly. That section is almost, the idea originally was to bring all of it
Yeah.
roadside, but it would, it's extensive tree trimming, and reworking the
Actually,
services.
our
They already
front
took
yard,
them.
they took them all, so.
They did?
Yeah,
Already.
they already took them all down.
Yeah, this is what power companies.
We had-
They
we
came
had
through and cleared the right of way out
50
a couple
trees
years
taken
ago.
out of our front
Now they
yard.
come up and wanna put them by the road, and you're gonna open wide open from the road, to everybody's houses. It was kind of short-sighted of the power company to do the right of way work with this plan coming along.
Right, I think that there can be miscommunication because right of ways generally they follow vegetation management group, they have a rolling schedule of when they are trimmed. So it's between 4 and 5 years, so it might have been that, 2, 3 years ago, it was the 5th year. And this project is actually a reliability driven project, a response to poor reliability in the circuit. This zone is responsible for about 8% of the poor reliability data for the past 2 years. So it could be like, poor timing of them not predicting that now we would be dealing with the situation. It's a reactive project now. It's not necessarily a planned years in advance. Hence the failure of us essentially, not being efficient and doing two jobs really at once, yeah.
So let me get this straight. So the original design was to move the poles closer to the street. Tell me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Yes.
For
Eversource had someone come in and cut down all those trees to incorporate that original design.
Mhm.
No,
No,
they clear cut underneath the existing right of way. So they're gonna leave the trees now, but they did a massive cutting, so it opened up a lot.
yeah,
And then with this new project last fall, it was gonna cut basically all the trees from that right of way up to the road, so these houses are gonna be wide open, and that's why everybody was upset.
got it.
And now they haven't gone through and taken, they're changing it, but the poles that they were gonna put in on, in fall,
Yeah,
those markers are still there, so no one knows where what is what.
okay.
It's really confusing.
And and with us, like, they can't, we've had probably 3 fires, like, and they literally, like, the lines are from here to here from our house. The lines drop, they can't get to them, because the lines aren't on the road.
Right, that's the goal, right?
Right.
In Western
And
Mass, we want
especially-
to eliminate right of ways. That's why it's a program we've accomplished in a few towns. Just because, it delays restoration, it's more impactful when we do need to get in there. It may require track machine, it may require matting, right? Things like that. So ideally, that's what we want to see, but Right.
So much that they have to do to get it semi-safe,
right,
and it's just gonna keep happening.
Right.
So, I mean, I would like to understand who, if someone can stop it from happening, I wanna stop it from going, I want it back.
right.
You know what I mean?
It's, I mean, at the end of the day, I'll leave it to the town, but generally it's a collective decision, right? It's almost like, and I don't know how you mentioned in the beginning that you guys won't be voting today. I'm not sure how it works in Conway, but generally, we want to benefit the greater good. And at the end of the day, the town is really the one that, agrees or denies such request, right?
We get the-
In anticipation of a denial.
It's not at our house.
Yeah, I think
Yeah, we-
in anticipation, yeah, in anticipation of a denial is what I'm told, is why we pivoted to remain in the right of way. And,
I didn't know that we had, yeah.
We've never,
Yeah,
I mean, I haven't been part of many poll hearings. but
every
we've
poll
never
hearing
had
I've been
copies.
to, it's always just been like, this is informational, you guys have no choice, this is what we're Eversource.
oh,
this is what-
yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, maybe it's kind of like that since it's a public service, right? But it's just, we can discuss like, hey, you have it A, but ideally we want it B, and we say like, yeah, B works for us still. And then we just modify it and everybody's on the same page. Maybe that's how it works, I'm not sure.
Wanted to pull off their property, this would be the opportunity
Yeah.
to say, like, this is a better idea.
If it could work.
If-
Right.
We need to make the design work to the standards.
Mark everything first.
Yeah.
And
That was the original.
and us, we were like, you were the first to say yes. apparently.
Right.
They clear cut.
Right.
They took down all these trees with the purpose of putting the poles up to the road, so.
So can you all just write down their address and look at that part of the design around there?
Yes, if I found your house correctly, your house is closer to the road, yeah? It's like a very short drive, your pole is to the side and it's a little overgrown.
Not overgrown, it's right in our driveway, and it's literally from here, our house is there, the pole is like here. Their house is where they've got 2 little hills that goes up, and it's like right in the plateau of between the 2 hills.
Here.
Yeah.
What's the,
Yeah, sure.
You have a 45-foot pole that goes here.
Yeah.
That's the.
Right next to it. It's right next to our house. Transformer right there, the transformer is literally
what's the address?
651.
That would drive me insane.
your house at all, your pole will be replaced,
Yeah.
45 too.
Oh, you're not-
We look at it, it's all rusty, the thing hisses.
Yeah.
And the transformer will still be.
Yeah, it's still that whole line. Yeah.
So-
And then Yeah.
So these are gone?
Stand correctly.
These
they're
trees are gone
saying
now?
That they wanna put in, poles in between, right? So that's gonna be directly in the middle of my lawn. 100% in the middle of my lawn.
I don't think down your address, I need to, there's no street view for us to see. I need to drive by it and check specifically the poles that are there. If I had street view, I would see what pole it is, 100%. Their street view ends right before their house. Yeah.
So the concern is it's a new midspan pole that will be in the middle of your backyard.
100% in the middle of my backyard.
641.
But also it sounds like they're okay with like not having any pole.
I don't want any poles.
I mean, if
If
the
you can
original
push them-
plan was to relocate the pole to the street.
But it was the whole line,
The whole
right?
line.
Like the idea, we wouldn't
So-
want to like, get out for them, but then have to go back in the right of way because the next person
Yeah.
refused, you
So
know?
they can just go farther down the line where you have your 400-foot spans and put a pole up at the road.
I don't think I follow.
You said you, so I wish I had a good drawing. Say this is the road right here. The poles are all here,
Right.
right? This is where the road turns. If you were to put a pole, you have one pole here and you connect over at the road, then you can move all your lines right to.
Right, but not the whole right of way, right?
I guess not.
Right, so that's the scenario we're facing here, right? We can revisit,
Yeah, I
it's just,
think,
Yeah, I mean. can
it's
you-
just, residents further south on North Poland Road
we-
have expressed very high concerns of tree cutting, and moving roadside would be extensive tree cutting. And so that's what essentially changed the,
They already did the tree cutting.
on our property.
on their
Anticipation.
Right.
Right.
that, but along with the rest,
Are they-
right? So the
so-
rest,
So in that case, if they're not gonna move the lines up, are they gonna replace all the trees?
that's
So maybe that's the route that we should be looking at.
right.
Because they probably took down 70 to 100 trees.
I mean, yeah. The other thing is that all the pine trees that are, everything that's there, they're all way over 50 feet. So like, if you guys move them into the middle, you're still gonna have a problem. They're in the middle of the woods.
Right. Yeah, that's,
It's, I mean, you could, like I said, you could ask the fire department how many times they're at our house. And it's falling on our cars, it's catching the lawn on fire.
definitely, no, it's
Yeah.
definitely something that we can sympathize, and it's a big issue for us as well.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, well, it can't be a unilateral decision, right?
But it sounds like one person said something in this. and-
To my understanding, it's more than, one, we've been told that, one of the reasons people have moved to this section of the state and the town is for the vegetation and everything, so, which we understand as well. So it's tough. We can, that is, it's extremely more expensive for everyone, right?
They probably look a lot nicer than old.
1000%.
You gotta understand where we're coming from.
No,
I don't
trust me, I do.
yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, we want to collectively, at the end of the day, considering all the projects that Eversource perform. Are financed by the ratepayers, right? So we want to accomplish a project that will service the needs. At the least possible cost, so we don't all pay for it, and I'm an Eversource customer myself. Undergrounding the line is a possibility that in theory, checks all the boxes for everyone, it's not visible, no tree interference, everything like that. Until we get to the rates at the next rate adjustment, right? So that's the part that, it's a balancing act between the two. Especially in this area, all the services are overhead. That was an option that was considered for that stretch of right of way. It's like, all right, what's the middle ground of moving off the right of way and avoid tree cutting? All right, middle. I understand, but the services would have to also all be reworked for every single customer because they're overhead services today. And when you move to an underground service, all of that needs to be reworked by an electrician. So it's an exponential cost.
Yeah, I would definitely much rather it just go to the original plan was.
Yeah, it sounds like we should just ask if Eversource can
If that's a
look at it
possibility.
again as far as, not the underground thing, but as far as moving the poles closer to the road.
We can, do we have any residents here that, are impacted by this right away and have different opinion from,
Yeah.
for the road?
I do.
Yeah.
I do.
Oh, go ahead.
What's
Can hear you.
yeah, please.
Yeah, Brenda, go ahead.
Okay, yeah, so our property abuts what you're talking about, and we would not want the trees to be cut, obviously. But if you look at the picture you have here, if you were talking about where you have the stakes now, which are completely across the road to the right, if you're facing to the right, yep. Would you have to cut the trees on our side in order to move the poles over to the other side of the road?
And which side are you on, the left?
It's on
or-
the same side as
Where
us.
they are now, I'm the
Right.
abutter, I'm here.
Right.
I'm-
It's,
I was the
it's
one
the
that
one,
complained before about all the trees. So, just to reiterate, if you were to, honor the red tapped stakes that you have right now, which are across the road, they're not, if we're facing your screen, there would be, you'd be moving from the left over to the right across the road. Okay? Would you have to cut down all the trees where the poles are now to move them across the road?
no, not necessarily. I mean, the way the sequence of the project, the way it would work is the line in the right of way would remain in service. The new line will be built roadside after the tree removals that are necessary are completed. Once the new line is energized, then the cutover would happen, right? So each service would be relocated to the new energized line, and then the old line would be decommissioned. So it's not necessarily that the line will be physically moved from the right of way, a new line will be built, and then the services will be swapped over. Does that make sense?
She's just wondering if you have to cut trees to move the line that much.
Right, on the left side, at the end of the day, it's tricky to answer this because the way the road winds and everything, it may require that although we're primarily on the right side, we may have to zigzag momentarily to the left,
This
and if
stretch
we
is
do,
all straight.
right, but you know, we can see right here, there's a little bit of zigzag here,
Right,
drainage.
yeah, but now we're saying they're moving it to the right.
I think it was just.
He's talking about the curve of the road, or if there's drainage or anything, they might not be able to have the line on all the same side of the road. So it might have to zigzag across the road.
Right, so they moved all the poles over to the right. All the markers that are up right now indicate, it looked like it was all getting moved to the right side.
Right.
And so what Brenda's asking is
If they got moved to the right side.
would you have to cut
Yes, so
trees?
if there's not a singular stake on this end anywhere on
No.
that stretch,
There's not.
then there's no reason, to my knowledge, that any tree on this left-hand side should be cut for
Yeah,
that. Yes,
that's what that makes sense.
yes.
They're saying it's getting moved to the right side.
No, it's here, it's here already.
Yeah,
And
It's
the
here
stakes, the original plan, the stakes would have been here,
correct.
and that's what it's.
That's what I think. Go ahead, Brenda.
I'm just curious how many trees you predict would be cut on the opposite side to accommodate the new poles? You don't know that probably, right?
I do not know. I'm not sure if they were marked already. To my knowledge, the trees were marked, right? And
They were
Not on the opposite side, that they were not.
they weren't marked here,
Not, no, none of them were, no.
but
Maybe
they were
two,
marked here.
correct, like 50 of them, all my trees, actually, every single tree in front of my house was marked, that's why I was so upset.
There's, there is a disconnect here. If you're telling me that the stakes were here, but
Yep,
then the tree marked for cut were here.
go figure, right?
Right, something has to be up, I would say. Either the stakes were mistakenly placed or
The trees were mistakenly.
or trees were mistakenly marked. I wouldn't envision that to have happened. So I would expect the trees to be marked here or the lines to be relocated here. Depending on the design, if it were me, depending on how we want to go about it, I would put the lines here, and I can see how you guys would go against it because you want this tree line to stay, just because it would be closer to the service, right? Because otherwise we could have the whole pole lines here, but every house that has a service may require yet another pole there for the service, right? Whereas if the pole line was here, then it would be a few less poles, right? But then more trees cut, so
But I mean,
Okay.
it'd be interesting that if they were on the right, because not, once you get past this section, they are on the right, because I am on the right. On that road.
And on
They're
the,
already on the right, so it would then connect and go that way, you just have to get the lines to the houses that are on the left.
right, right.
So,
Which are all close to the road.
right,
Right.
so, yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
It'd be nice if it could be relooked at before this kind of moves forward, just because there is so many questions. I don't know if that's possible at this point.
I think so.
It is.
We didn't know this until.
Yeah.
Yeah. That when we have a poll hearing, we actually can say yes or no.
Great, yeah. Is there somebody who could be in contact with the town about the design work and how, it might be revamped, and somebody who could just kind of like keep us in the loop? Tell us if the trees, if all the markings are on there, maybe somebody could come and take down all the ones that are irrelevant or not right, so that people aren't so confused.
But
yes,
Well,
But
have a
also
site
we'll have
visit
to have
with
another-
the people.
Yeah, that's the thing, we've
Yeah.
talked to people coming through there, they're like, this is what we're doing, but it sounds like. There was
Yeah.
one plan and now there's another plan and.
it sounds like we should have another poll hearing
Yeah.
after, but this has all been reviewed on the ground.
yeah, definitely. I can be the point of contact. My name is Gilberto Silva. I'm with Eversource. Looks like prematurely the design was pivoted. So we can revisit. And include all the residents in this section here for probably an on-site, I'm not sure.
Is everybody on that email that I was going back and forth with?
No.
Okay.
One more question for you. You said you're upping the voltage.
No, same system voltage.
Oh, you said
Future
you're putting,
possibility, future possibility.
okay, I thought you were saying you're putting heavier wire in for the higher voltage going through it. I'm wondering what you're increasing. it to.
No, the wire will have higher ampacity, so more amps, but the system voltage is still the same.
Still 23,000 volts. then?
Yes, correct. Yes, it's just, it'll increase capacity, should a bigger customer come or anything. Or it's almost like not the reason we're doing it, but it's a benefit, a secondary benefit.
And the other thing, are you gonna put rework the road around, so if power was out, it'd be back into another area? I know this section does not.
Right,
have that.
correct. That would be fantastic. Unfortunately, we aren't able to, simply because on the other end is, Williamsburg Town, and that's national grid.
Okay.
So unfortunately, no interoperability between the companies yet, hopefully, and sooner rather than later, that will be a possibility.
Okay, so we have 15 minutes, so I'm gonna open this 15 minutes up to the public hearing.
Not that we haven't
So-
been wasting.
So we have, it looks like we have solely 3 customers impacted by this right of way section. Is that correct? Here
Yeah,
currently?
the next person is, Lauren and Skyland. Solaris. Yeah, they're the ones, the next house. There are neighbors. If you're staring at our house from the road, there are neighbors to the right, there are neighbors to the left.
Gotcha.
So it's the 3 of us really that are affected mostly by this
By
movement.
the section.
Yeah.
So that's 3 out of 4 total? That would be,
Or 3, there's only, the other line up, it already switches over to the other side of the road, so there's really just 3 of us.
3. And it looks like everyone, and Brenda, if you're still with us, everyone seems to be in agreement that it's okay if the lines were to be moved to this end of the road and potentially some trees here be cut / tree trimmed. And that seems to be the preferred design for everyone here.
As long as, like Brenda's saying, they're not taking down all of our trees.
All of
Yeah.
these ones.
On
Yeah,
that
on
side.
that side,
Right,
on the
right.
left
I think it's a
side.
problem.
Right.
Or the
That's-
other side, I mean,
Even, that's our primary design as well. So
Make life easier for the power company.
definitely. So
It
that's
is
our
a
primary.
bad for you guys every time you come out in the winter and you're like trying to get in. so, like, you
Right,
can't get
no,
there.
it's a nightmare. It's a
I mean,
nightmare.
you can't tell, but from the road right there on our property to the left of it,
It
drops
down.
25,
Yeah.
30 feet in a matter of 20 feet.
Right.
So
Right.
So for everyone here, all of our email addresses are on the town website. So you can either go to the admin page or the select board page. Erica, Chris, Elaine's not here, but there's also a name. So you all could just email us. I know you guys already have, but you could email us if you want to give me your email addresses so we can make sure that, Bill Burkdale has your contact information.
Cool, yeah, it looks like, we prematurely changed it, so this is good news. Definitely for this as well.
Communication.
Yeah. Somebody was too quick on the trigger. All right, awesome. So how do we want to proceed? We want to, because there's, other sections of this project, right? Do we want to break it out at this point, look over the remaining and see where we at that stage, or do we want to postpone now and look the whole thing as a package, whenever?
Let's postpone, even if this part could change everything else, it could be a waterfall effect. So if we can just postpone until you look at maybe if this design can work, since there was some information that got mixed up somehow.
Gotcha.
I would,
And I know there's another section of right of way through two properties closer to 116.
Right,
And they
so.
aren't here tonight.
So that's why, we're here, we got probably 11 minutes left. Obviously, it doesn't hurt to look at it. And kind of discuss if there's things that we'll have to adjust, at the very least, we'll, adjust them all at once. And then discuss the adjustments
but they're
all at
not
once
here.
futurely.
They're not here.
Yeah.
Oh, they aren't.
They're not here.
Oh, no.
It looks like we've got one on our property.
Yeah,
It's gonna be on the
so I
opposite
guess
side of the
that's
house.
what I
Mine is.
realized, I thought that the old ones being taken down and these two new ones being put in, but it looks like, it sounds like two additional ones to shorten the span.
Thank you, thank
I
you.
wish I could show you what's in the meeting, but I've been looking at it for
Yeah.
45 minutes and I don't know.
You don't get it.
No.
Yeah,
And when would the next meeting be?
Well, you
Uh,
guys
we-
give your design to us and then we'll get a meeting going. It
Oh,
doesn't.
yeah.
And the reason I ask is just, we'll certainly be interested and we'll try our best to meet the next meeting. This is like I mentioned, it's a poor performing circuit. It has regulatory implications and, we certainly would want to address, in this calendar year. And the sooner we.
Yeah, before winter, of course. right?
Exactly,
Yeah, yeah.
exactly.
Well, I think the sooner you can, like, go on site and evaluate these suggestions, then, we're here every Monday night.
Yes.
So,
Oh, is it weekly?
Oh,
well, select board, yeah. so-
Select-
Until town meeting, but the thing is that we have to post this legally for 2 weeks ahead of time.
Gotcha.
So by the time you
Whenever we get
tell
to
us,
you, it's-
I got like
it's 2 weeks.
I've got a 3-week window because I had to get it to the paper.
Gotcha.
And then it has to be in for 2 weeks before.
So
the
just
meeting.
say as soon as you get it to us, 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Sounds
Yeah.
good. Sounds good.
I guess one of the things is that kind of an essence of how much else is going on our road. We have a bridge that's gonna be happening.
Got to do.
Starting as soon as school gets out, that's being replaced.
Right at the beginning of the, okay.
Yeah.
So, if the road is already closed and pretty much closed down and stuff, the timing of getting this project going for you this summer, it seems like it would be relatively helpful,
Definitely.
because there wouldn't be much traffic on the road.
Well,
except
there
for
wouldn't,
those-
but they couldn't get there.
Well, they could
They
get
have
together
to, they
and-
have to go the other way, yeah.
Road and stuff.
Yeah,
You can
yeah,
do this
just-
Anyways.
Yeah, we'll probably
Yeah,
get.
It's not
yeah,
as easy.
Yeah, probably get there from there anyway.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
so it just seems like, if we can meet soon, I mean.
Yeah.
Cybersecurity, we don't need weeks to figure this out.
Across the Burkeville Bridge, go up all the way down the gravel road. There's that one part
Like
where
through
there's rocks
Chapel,
on
yeah,
either
yeah,
side.
through Chapel. Gates.
Olive Gate, yeah.
We've all done it.
And how long, just for my knowledge, how long will the bridge project be happening? How long will
Well,
that bridge be
it's
closed?
just be during when school's out.
I think, last I heard, I think they were gonna extend it to maybe November. from June to
Yes.
November.
Yeah.
June to November.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, so, a long time.
The only thing they
By
promised
September, school-
is that before the snow flies.
Okay.
They'll have it done.
And there's part of that road that's shut down during the winter.
Well, last time we met, the school bus on the other end of it, and they picked up the kids.
The power by the new bridge has been changed. I think to be ditched up tomorrow.
Oh, wow, really?
They raised up poles
Oh.
over on the farm side,
Okay.
and then they'll take the old ones out.
Yeah.
And then it's got to go back on the other side after the bridge is done.
Right, because it's currently on your property, right?
Right, well, either side will be on the front.
Right.
Oh,
So is it possible to set up an on-site meeting with a few of the folks? or-
Definitely. It's, we'll have to look at, myself and Edward's availability. I'll, email you. Is there a time, a day and a time that works best for, we definitely want people to
I
be
work from
available.
home on Tuesday through Friday.
Tuesdays
Those
and
would be
Fridays.
amazing, but I will make whatever.
Is there a piece of paper where we could all put just the email addresses on it so that we can just give it to him right tonight? Does anybody have a piece
Do
of
I
paper?
have scrap paper?
What is that?
Oh, yeah, I do, I do, I do.
Piece of paper, Nate. I should be free to look up. Thank you.
Yep.
I already emailed.
Oh, yeah, first.
Yeah.
It does, but I'll do it now.
I came them for a piece of paper.
Awesome. And Brenda, do you have any, days or times that work best? Should we?
Yeah,
meet
I'm
with
usually
you?
home around 3 during the week, depending on meetings and stuff, but I can make it happen.
Okay,
Do you know other people who are impacted?
I haven't.
I'm sorry, I'm sorry.
No, sorry, if you know other people who are impacted who are not here tonight.
They are on main Poland, they're on main Poland, we're trying to feel
No,
more.
no, it'd be Winston and,
Yeah, Winston wants to be here, Winston for
Yeah,
sure.
just jot their names down so we can.
Yeah, okay.
Thanks.
Steve and Mary Jane Ackers. And very good message.
Yes. Could you write the email address, your name, and address of
Yep,
the
that's
house?
what it is. Yep. 765. Of course she knows. I can look up Stevens information, I don't have it. Yeah, 735.
Yeah. Can't do that. Can't do that, can I?
Yes.
Yeah, you got a guy. Yes, always. Well, I have to say, Gilberto, you were like the one helpful person with the whole next stamp situation.
yeah.
Yeah.
You've been helpful here, so we appreciate.
Yes.
Absolutely. Yeah, we want to, to be a working leadership role, right?
No.
All right, Chip, you wanna-
Yeah. Once everybody's done, it's great.
Right.
Well, we can just grab it. I mean,
Oh.
I don't know. It's up to you.
Looks like it was.
Those prayers come back, she was the only one.
Oh, right, right.
Okay, there we need that. There we go.
I have one.
And then once everybody gets back, I'll post some. Good.
And just, now that I have you guys here, just as I think of this, do we know roughly the town taking here, along North Poland Road,
The what?
the town taking?
What town?
Like or that, yes, so basically, I just wanna get to the point, so if we move the poles to this right side here. If there's a corner, as it looks like there'll be a little bit here, it'll require guying, and I just wanna see if the guy itself would go into the private, this private property.
So a lot of
or-
that is state land, that's for, it's the.
State forest.
The
Wildlife
lake
management,
land,
right?
trust, yeah, wildlife
Oh,
management,
it's-
a lot of it.
In all honesty, our highway super would be one of the only people who would know.
Chris, I think it's 8 feet.
No, it's different on each, not every road.
So it varies a lot.
Yeah.
a guide that goes out into my lawn from the pole that's on the first pole on my property line.
Right,
I don't think there is on the other ones, because those are my hay fields, so.
Right.
I know the first one has a guide that goes back.
right, so it could, it could be something, so I just wanna, as I
Yeah,
just
the-
brainstorm this, we'll need to reach out to the private property owners if there's any, or.
Yeah, the distance can, on some roads, the distance is measured from the center of the road, on other roads, it's measured from the side.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, it
So,
can be
it
anywhere.
could be anywhere.
Logic sense.
Yeah. Gilbert, are you guys good too? Did you need anything else from us?
No, looks like I got everything. Thank you for voicing your opinion and definitely, for us to come to, looks like a solution that seems to work for all parties involved, barring any unforeseeable situation. So
Yeah.
look forward to be here, hopefully in a few weeks.
Yeah, thank you guys for coming and listening to us and being, willing to look into this again. Really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Anytime. Thank you. Thank you.
You're good. I'm gonna make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you so much.